music? Like, what was your first influences that made you want to play music?
Start with you.
Yeah, let's start with you.
You want to start with the drummer?
Yeah.
I was in the high school drum line.
That's fun.
So that was the start of like my drumming. And then I met all the weird punks that I went to high school with. We all started a terrible band called the Static Locals. We're not very good. And then I've been in bands ever since.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I had a friend in like elementary school maybe who like wanted to play bass, which made me want to play bass, and I just kind of didn't do it for a while. But I had one, and then my brother, when I was like 17, 18, was in a metal band that needed a bass player, so they asked me, and I fucking sucked. But the band was good. I was god awful. But and just after that, I just kind of kept really wanting to do it. I started like a really shitty punk band that was around for a little while, and then I was on my own for a while doing like folk punk and harsh noise and stuff, and then we're here.
You still kind of do the harsh noise stuff on the
side.
side.
I haven't done it a lot, but like I still have the ability to.
Side project. What's the name of said side project?
Domesticated Cryptid. It's I just post some stuff on like SoundCloud.
Shit yeah.
Yeah, but I guess I had a friend when I was younger, because I know like I was an only child growing up, so I didn't really like hear any punk music or anything until I had a friend when I was in like elementary school who like grew up, like had a bunch of older brothers who got him like into like metal. And I remember listening to a Rise Against album when I was like 10 years old, which is funny because that would be like a later punk band, but it was kind of like, I remember hearing that and being like, well, this is fucking wild. And that's what got me into like Black Flag and all that kind of shit. And so then I started playing bass, like, and taking lessons then, but I didn't really stick with it, I guess, so I got more into like, and then I started getting into, when I got into like, I would say late high school is when I got into like Crack Rock Steady and shit like that. And so that made me pick up the bass again because all the ska punk kind of like stuff. And then I started a band with my friends in our like early 20s that like kind of would mix that and like stoner metal, I guess.
Oh, was Whiskey Dripping your first band?
Well, no, I mean my first band that actually did anything.
Okay,
every other band was like a garage band that fucking never went anywhere. But it was always with the same guys that were in my first band. And then that kind of fell apart and I met Ash and we started this band. So that's about it, really.
Word. So how did this band just come about? Like you met Ash and then like
so that last band that I had, our singer quit and we were looking for a new one for like a while because we were gonna like try to keep it going. And out of all things, we posted on fucking Craigslist to try to find a new singer for that band. And Ash
I was occasionally looking on Craigslist or like anywhere that I could, Facebook, Craigslist, for anybody who was looking for like somebody to join their band. I was primarily a bass player, but I could play guitar a little bit. So I came across their Craigslist ad and I hit them up. I'm like, hey, I can play guitar, not having any idea, never having played ska punk before. I'm like, I can do this, sure. How hard can it be? And that ended up just not really working out. But we just ended up making 13 Cavities instead.
But yeah, our first Max is actually our second drummer. Our first drummer is like my childhood friend who I was in the last band with. So we started, but then he just couldn't keep up with like how much we, play shows and shit because we play like all the fucking time. So he was like, yeah, I need to kind of stop this. It's a lot. So then we found you.
Yeah. And I knew Ash from like being in different bands and playing on the same bills, but like didn't know each other well, but enough to be like, yeah, I'll drum for your band.
Like the first time we kind of met at all was at Apes at the State show. Yeah. And then we just sort of like, we knew the same people.
We were just at the same shit all the time.
Word. So tell me about that first EP, Serious Dental Work. It came out in November.
Yeah, so that was we were just trying to like get something out. We had written those couple of songs. That was like right when we first started because like we're still fairly new. I guess we've been together like 2 years now total.
Beginning of like 2022.
Yeah, and you've
Sounds
been in the
right.
band for like a year now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we were just trying to get something down, and a kid I know that actually like I knew from like, well, I didn't know him back in high school, but he was friends with people I knew back in high school. Just hit us up like when we first started and was like, hey, if you guys want to like whip together a demo or something, like you can come record at my house. We were like, oh, okay, sick. So we had that like little collection of songs there. And I feel like at that point we really hadn't found exactly what we were going to sound like.
No,
So if you look,
Chuggin came from Jason's old band Whiskey Drippin'.
right, and you'll notice on that first EP, there's like 4 of those songs are on our album too,
Yeah.
because we like had Max join, like the drums are different, and you know we had gotten better, I would say, at like playing
Yeah,
together.
I would say we got a lot tighter and
Yeah.
just faster and louder,
Yeah,
a lot
so
more confident in the playing.
so I had written that song. I had actually like 3 of those songs, one being the song Chuggin' that's on both. And 2 of the other songs on that first EP I had written for my previous band, so I already had them like
Yeah.
ready to go and like that, but they had never been used. So we were able to get that shit like to, and you had
Yeah,
2 of them,
yeah,
3 of them written too. So we had all those songs written
Yeah,
prior to
like,
starting the band.
Off Serious Dental Work, Lobotomy, Liberals Don't Want to Work. I think that was it on Serious Dental Work.
Inspired.
Well,
we
we
kinda-
finished that one together.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
started that one, but like Liberals Don't Want to Work and Lobotomy, I had previously written and recorded when I was playing by myself, just doing like folk punk stuff. So we brought them in and just made them like full band.
Yeah.
So,
So it was really all songs we had like pretty much ready to go that we just like slapped together with a full band, and then we just wanted to get something out so there was something to listen to. But now when I go back and like listen to it, I'm like, ah, shit, the new stuff sounds so much fucking
Yeah.
better than
like,
this.
I think Serious Dental Work still sounds good, but like it sounds like a band just getting started that recorded in their friend's house. You know?
I remember when we did drums in the garage,
Yeah.
and it was like old headphones, and
Oh God, they kept cutting out.
yeah, like I couldn't hear shit. Like it was so like recording that first EP was like, I remember it being way more
was
difficult than
ridiculous.
recording like the album that we
Yeah.
recorded now, because we did the new one like in a studio, you know, with like actual
Yeah.
solid sound equipment and all that.
Like a real studio with a real audio engineer.
Yeah.
Nah, Shane's a real audio engineer. He doesn't have a studio.
Right. Yeah. But yeah.
Don't exist. Say that they're insane. Tired of being a joke. Tired of not being pissed. They don't want your pity. Don't want you to get that care. They just wanna live their life. Be the best selves while they're
Yeah, that new album is great. I the first time I gave it a listen, I was almost blown away. It was great. Great
Thank
fucking release. You just
Thank
came out at the end of April. Tell me about that. So you actually went to a full-on studio, because you can hear a difference like sonically. It's way better, like mastered. And tell me about that process, like because that had to been a completely different vibe, because I've been in an actual studio, and it does give a different feel. So what was that like?
Well, it's nice because too, this is like once it's actually kids I knew from high school that graduated high school and they went to college for like audio engineering. So it's like once again just like dudes that I knew. So that was just kind of lucky because it's still like a very chill vibe. It's not like we were going into like a professional studio environment. It was still just like hanging out with like people we're friends with and shit.
It's
and,
also
like,
where we record, so like
what
we
you mean
really
where we practice.
practice. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Practice.
So we
So it was pretty chill. We already had a good idea of like the layout and everything,
Yeah. And but we didn't record to a click or anything, so it's still like a very live sound. Like we run everything as a
Get the
full
drums.
band and get the drums down, then we kind of just lay everything else over it from there. So that's like how we recorded it. but it's pretty tight. I know this. It's funny, like you interviewing us, like being this new band compared to like interviewing bands like the Henchmen, and like you can talk about decades of shit that they did, and we're like, yeah, so we just went in and recorded this brand new album, and that's what we got.
The first thing we ever did.
We were in the studio 6 months ago, and now the album's out.
Oh, but I
Yeah.
guess we should talk about like how it went down. I didn't even think about that because it was kind of a whole. It was like we originally were going in to just record a new EP, basically,
Yeah.
and then
But then that was with our old drummer when we were planning to.
oh yeah,
But
that's
then
right.
he quit. So we found Max, and Max joined, and we're like, hey, you just joined the band. In like a month, we're going into the studio.
Yeah.
So,
No pressure.
So
yeah,
we
none.
yeah, that was the funny thing. We went in to like record this EP of like what 6 songs or something.
6, 7, I want to say.
Yeah, 7 songs I think, and a local like label here in Philly hit us up and was like, hey, do you guys want to do like a split with another Philly band, and then it would be released on vinyl, like tape and all that kind of shit. And we were like, oh hell yeah, that sounds awesome. So we were gonna do it with this band from Philly that we were like pretty tight with, but then some pretty bad shit went down with the vocalist of that band. And
Pretty bad shit.
yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna get into the
Yeah,
details, but
no.
we were like, okay, so that's not happening. And the label's like, you guys just want to go back in and record like, some more songs and do a full length. And we are like, fucking yeah. So we went back in and did the other 5. So then it was like weird, and like when it comes to like mixing, because the first set of songs were already done before we recorded the other
Yeah.
ones. So we
And it was like months apart.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like, and they were already mixed and everything. So we had to like go back in and then try to either remix the old ones or mix the new ones like up so that they kind of like sounded consistent and stuff like that. But it was cool. Like this dude, Tim, that runs Fameless Records out of Philly, like really helped us with this because we never would have been able to do like
Yeah.
wouldn't have the money and shit to like do a physical release all on our own. So he really helped us out by like doing the records and stuff for
Yeah,
us.
he's a really good guy. He
Yeah.
always is trying to help like Philly bands. He's helping a bunch right now. I think Alpha Sub's back in the studio. Jalen is. So
Yeah.
just Fameless Records in general.
Yeah, that's
is
kind of
just
like
really worth checking out.
that's like his thing, is to like kind of help local bands from our area kind of get out there so that they can hopefully like, get a better spot somewhere else maybe, that's kind of like what he goes for, which is pretty cool.
Thanks, buddy.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
For all the lies you put on me, forcing me to believe, locking our brains, I never die. But it takes, but it takes, but it takes, but it takes.
Whose choice was it to do a No Cash cover?
That would be me. So yeah, I like grew up fucking. I actually have like a No Cash tattoo and shit. I grew up like listening to that band, and so I was like, well, we're from like around the area that they're from. We're
like an hour or 2 outside of Nazareth.
yeah, it's like an hour from me.
Yeah.
So and like back in the day, No Cash used to, and then like Mad Conductor used to play in Philly and shit all the time. So I was like, yeah, what if we did that? But I didn't want to do like, one of the ones that like I didn't want to do like Gasoline or Skate or Die. Like I wanted to do one that, not a lot of people did. So I guess that's where that came from. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
the riff's fucking sweet and fun to play.
And it sort of matched our style really well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
So we were like, we didn't like go into it with the plan to record that. But
Mm-mm.
then once we were going to do the full length, I guess, right? Or yeah.
No, that was on the original batch.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
because
So I guess
Jason had actually reached out to MC Devlin and be like, hey, do you mind if we record this and put it on the album? And he was totally cool with it. So
yeah, that's true. Right, because we were already playing the cover for a while there.
yeah, we had been playing it for a bit. We had learned it a while before.
And it's so funny because we play all these like different shows, different places, different crowds. And like sometimes like you play that song and you're like, this is a cover, like, if you know it, like get into it or whatever. And then people are like, I don't know what the fuck this is. And then other times like they get really into it. Like,
yeah.
well, it's like we played with Corrupt Vision and the Henchmen when they came through. And
Exploded.
yeah, when we played that cover, people like went insane. It was awesome. But then sometimes we play it and no
Yeah.
one fucking knows it. So
I like to mess with them and the crowd, and like before we play that song, I'll introduce it as like a different band song or something. I think one time I introduced it as a Nirvana song.
yeah,
And after our set, a woman actually came up to us and was like, "That wasn't actually a Nirvana song, was it? I don't recognize it." I'm like, "No, the Nirvana."
You're like,
song."
it's on a B-side. You just haven't heard it.
yeah. But yeah, that was my idea originally, and then we were just playing it as the cover, and then I don't even know when we decided to record it. But I'm glad we did it.
Yeah, I
Came
don't
out.
remember exactly. But
And I sent it to MC Devlin when it was done, and he seemed to really like it. And and originally, like he was gonna do
he was
like
gonna do a verse over the breakdown.
yeah, but it just ended up like we had to get our record done, and he wasn't gonna get it done in time, so it didn't end up panning out, which is unfortunate because that would have been really fucking cool.
Yeah,
But
And that would have been super badass. I mean,
yeah,
and he's a really super cool guy and would have been totally down to do it. But
yeah, exactly.
approaches.
It was his idea.
yeah,
came-
he actually is the one that pitched the idea to us, and we were like, oh yeah, all right, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Well, what the shit, man? Why didn't he do that? Yeah.
So he did have it written towards the end, but he wasn't going to be able to get it recorded in time, and we were like down to the wire on like getting our stuff in so that we could get the records pressed through the label. So it just like it was unfortunate.
It's cool. Future B-side potential. Like
It's a good idea.
Yeah, that's
Right.
actually what
So
he
that-
said.
throw that bitch on a limited edition 7-inch and it'll sell out instantly.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, there you go.
Honestly.
See, I went to school for marketing. That's genius. You should use it.
Yeah.
But no, and the artwork on your new album's fucking sick.
Speaking of Doom
Elliot,
Scroll-
right?
Speaking
Yeah.
Yeah. Elliot does some of the coolest fucking art. He also did the art for there's a folk punk band from Jersey that we play with a lot called the Looms.
Oh, did he do the Looms artwork?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he
I
did the
didn't know that.
Looms album cover too, which is really sick. They actually, when that tour came around with Doom Scroll and Apes of the State, they're the ones that opened for them at that. So that was pretty cool. Cool dudes. Just check them out if you haven't.
They're a good band.
Yeah. Elliot's the shit. He let me listen to one of the demos off that new Pesky Self album that he recorded.
He let me listen to one of them too. It was awesome.
Yeah,
I'm
it
like
was
really
fucking
fucking
badass.
excited about it.
Right. He played every bit of that, drums and all,
Yeah.
Like-
I say this to Max. I don't. It's like not fair that Elliot isn't like so many ripping fucking bands. It's like wild. You
It's not
know?
fair.
Yeah.
Some people just have too much talent.
Yeah, I forget how badass the drummer he is until I listened to it. I was like, holy shit, man. It's like, why aren't you drumming more? And he's like, well, Doom Scroll,
Yeah.
Escape from the Zoo, you can't turn that shit down.
Yeah.
So-
I didn't watch the one you did with him, but I gotta watch that one.
Which one?
What
Uh,
your interview with Elliot, or it's the Doom Scroll one?
I actually did two because I did one before the EP came out, and then when the EP came out, we touched base again, and he
Ah.
showed me how to play one of the songs on it, right?
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's cool.
And I tried to edit in the chords so you could follow along, but the sound recording on this Zoom program is not the best. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
But if you want to learn how to play one of the songs off the new album, the new EP, yeah, check that video out.
Yes, we didn't shout out Everlove Studios or Fred.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's
just
where we
said
were.
a recording studio.
Yeah, Everlove Studios. That's where we recorded our album with our friend Fred Keller. Awesome. What else? Oh, and then we got it. It was mastered at Noisy Little Critter, which did a lot of like old punk albums back
They
in the
did
day.
like The Virus or something like
Yeah.
that, was it?
A lot of like
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Philly bands, which is pretty cool.
For your opinion, where'd you get your PhD? Science and fact don't change the mind just because you disagree.
The new album's out. Are you gonna do like a tour to rep it through the summer, or what you got going on coming up?
No, I mean, we
a
gotta.
mini tour had been mentioned early on, but
Yeah, it's kind of hard right now until like we get maybe a little more stuff under our belt. Like we will at some point do like a mini tour, but like probably wouldn't make it out your way or anything like that, you know? But like um we all have like full-time jobs and shit too, so it's like, you know, that's fucking tough. Like some of these bands that tour so much, I'm like, how do they even fucking make money? But
Yeah.
at some point we'll probably do a little tour if we can
yeah,
take some time off
definitely.
of work.
Like right now, we're just trying to play in the area, you know, and like Philly and like branch out as much as we can.
Yeah.
Um,
Hopefully hit up north a little more.
yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully we can get up north. I know we've made some contacts with bands in like northern Jersey and like in New York and stuff. So
Yeah.
hopefully in the near future we can get out there a little bit more.
Yeah, but
Um,
we do play often, so if, you know, anyone that watches this does live in the Philly area or surrounding states, we do play often, so they should come, and it would be cool.
Yep.
Watch me talk my insane shit on stage.
Oh yeah, we didn't even like touch on that stuff. But like Ash is like absolutely like wild. Like when we go into a show, we have no idea like what insane shit she's gonna say on stage, like just shouting like conspiracy theories and like wild stuff. Like it can just
I don't even know what I'm gonna say. I
Yeah.
don't plan out anything. It's always a surprise for them and for the crowd. I start talking about how like, you know, inspired by true events obviously is about like the transgender experience in America and stuff, but I always talk about how it's about cis het white men and how they're the
oppressed
minority in America and shit like that. Just insane shit.
Yeah, and like they'll be like, I don't know, you'll say some, you know, it's hit or miss. Sometimes you say some shit and I'm like, that was hilarious. Sometimes you say some shit that I'm like, start the song.
Yeah, I accidentally said some really questionable stuff, and immediately after it comes out of my mouth, I'm like,
Yeah, she has this weird, like, ironic sense of humor.
Yeah.
So then, like,
so like I don't mean it, and I think for the most part people get it, but sometimes I'll say shit where even I'm kind of like, we haven't been canceled yet.
but yeah, it's just like, all, so yeah, come see our live shows because it'll be weird.
You never know what you're gonna get.
Politics play with our lives, charging us with victimless crimes. Cops on the prowl, looking to kill. Better watch our backs, cause they'll come for you. So get out quick or run for cover. Soon the police state's taking over. These little rats and straw pigs, bringing this nation to
Hopefully we'll, I mean, we are working on new music and stuff.
Yeah,
so
we
like,
already have 2 songs. One song that's like done, one that we're still kind of working on with Aaron Incoherent, who's a singer-songwriter out of Philly.
yeah,
And
Who was
Jason,
also featured on one of your other tracks as
yeah,
well.
on the original recording of Inspired by True Events.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
does the spoken word part.
Yeah.
and then we kind of, because that song kind of changed over time, because that like version was done, like I said, like right in the beginning.
Mhm.
So since that song kind of changed over time, we like switched it up. But then we wanted to do another song with Aaron, so we've been working on that now.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, it's probably one of the coolest fucking songs I think we've
Yeah.
written.
It's a lot of fun to play. Her and I have been collaborating on the lyrics, and like the stuff that they can write. They're such a good fucking songwriter. Like,
Yeah,
I can't even keep up with it. It's
Yeah.
insane.
so that'll be rad. And then
So that's also the first stuff where I get to write drums from the beginning.
that's
Yeah.
true, yeah. So we got that going on.
Should be cool.
And then I wrote a couple other songs
Yeah, I
that are
have
like
some
not
riffs and
yeah.
stuff. Like for the most part, it's not like full songs, but I have things that we can kind of like piece together. I'm always writing down lyric ideas.
But
you
we're
know.
probably gonna pop out another EP here in a little bit.
Yeah.
Just need to get it together. We
Or-
play so much that it's hard to find time to work on
Yeah.
new songs. So, but like when it comes to like Gumrot, like most of those songs we wrote fucking forever ago.
Yeah, we wrote a lot of those a while ago, and then like Max came in, like I said earlier.
So
We're
it's
like, hey, we're going into the studio, fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
I had what, 4 practices before we went in the studio?
something like that.
yeah, and that was funny too. Like you joined the band and it was like, hey, by the way, we're playing with Corrupt Vision and the Stupid Henchman in a couple weeks. So like let's get it
Come on,
together,
yeah.
you know?
Okay.
Max
guess.
actually, we were playing the one song. You had like a little mini pat, like This is fine, not to embarrass you.
Oh my God.
But
I'll tell the story.
All right, you tell the story.
We're playing 1% at that show, and I had noticed that Chet was actually looking at me for the first time, and I just froze completely. Like, just stopped playing
This is like halfway through the song.
mid-song, and he turned around and looked at me and went, "What are you doing?"
You're like, I had panic
I had a
attack.
pat. We gotta start the song over.
Yeah, so that was fun. You
So,
jumping.
so your
Like-
first show was a stupid henchman gig.
It was
my
second or third?
show.
second show with the band, yeah. But it was like they joined the band and we had like only a couple weeks to get it all together.
Mhm.
But like I've been listening to the Henchmen since like I was in high school. Like I was a huge fan of
Yeah.
that band. I was like, this is awesome.
And now you're like buddies with Chet, and it's weird. Mac
guess
and I
we're
were
buddies.
talking about that the other day. I'm like, I texted them. I'm like, is it a little weird that like we're kind of like friendly and on a first name basis with the singer for the stupid henchman? Like it feels weird just saying Chet.
Yeah.
Like
Fucking love that guy.
Yeah. That was like that is my
that was like
favorite
great for
band.
you.
Yeah, that
like
they've been my favorite band. Like,
you were so nervous. I'm surprised you didn't fuck up.
yeah, you know what? Me too. But yeah, they were my favorite band. Like, because after when I was saying in like late high school when I got into like crack rock steady and shit, they were like one of the bands I found, and I was like, this band fucking cool. And then
Fucking rips. Yeah.
yeah, and then I remember that fucking Chill Out and Die Later came out, and I love the old Henchman stuff, but like when I remember thinking that album was like one of the best fucking albums I've ever listened to. Fucking favorite
I
one.
fucking love that album too. It's
Yeah.
great. And whatever helps you get through. I fucking love
Oh.
that one too.
Yeah, is that your favorite? Yeah,
Yeah,
that
fuck.
one.
Great shit. And
I don't
like
look-
you said, he's fucking awesome, dude.
Warehouse full of bodies, human cats, dogs cut in half. In the basement lies secrets of the army's craft. Resurrected human corpses delivered here by incompetent staff. Got unlocked a way to keep us safe.
I'm not a crack rock steady fan. I don't listen to ska, so I'm just like here.
Yeah, that we should have brought that up too. Is that like us being in this band? Ash doesn't even listen to this music. She just plays in the fucking band. So,
So like Jason and I, like, we're playing with this really cool band, and I should be like,
what? Who?
Who?
Yeah, stupid henchman. Yeah, he's
I like Amy Bridgers and Mitski.
I know,
Yeah.
but you also like other stuff.
Yeah.
I listen to harsh noise and like pop music.
Yeah.
Like what? Like you a fan of like Walker or that whole noise scene coming out of France right now?
Oh, I'm not really familiar with it. I
Like,
just kind of
bands like Pineal or Knee.
Me
am-
sounds like you would love
that
it.
sounds like we're into that. No, I mean, I just find random stuff. Sometimes it's like weird shit on Instagram that I'll never see again. There's like a noise rock band I really like out of the UK called Thank, which is they're one of my favorite bands of all time. But yeah, no, I just listen to a lot of weird shit. I found like there's like a weird Instagram page based out of Japan where they'll go to a lot of like noise and performance art shows, and it's just these. One of the first videos I saw was a drummer hitting cymbals with pillows while the singer was screaming into a microphone, getting wrapped up in VHS tape. That's the type of shit that I'm into.
Yeah, she like crazy performance.
It's so weird.
You were in like a weird, I don't even know, what do you call boob?
Performance art.
Performance
I used to
art.
be in a performance art band before this.
Yeah.
I left not too long ago.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Sleepy Time Gorilla Museum, and they have a performance side to to all their shows.
I just love that, like really out there sort of. Like, how do you come up with it?
I guess that's something we didn't touch on too, is that we're all kind of like, I mean, like, yeah, I like ska-core, you like ska-core and stuff, but like, we all kind of listen to different music
Yeah.
too. Like, I'm big into like, I like outlaw country and shit like that a lot. And you're really into like emo and stuff.
Yeah, like a lot of pop emo.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
pop emo and shit like that. So we all kind of like mesh on different things, which I think is coming through too on like newer stuff
Yeah,
we're
I
writing.
think we're sort of like on the newer song that we mentioned earlier that we're doing with Aaron Incoherent. there's a breakdown at the end that's just full on like an emo violence breakdown. Like,
Yeah.
I'm playing emo chords and it just sounds insane.
And then I wrote that one forever ago too that we haven't like worked. We wrote it forever ago, but it's like kind of like sludgy almost, I guess. So I'm like, remember I wrote that like sludgy thing?
The one that's in drop D?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll have to figure that out, but try to work some other shit into it. We'll see.
I'm constantly trying to force feedback into the songs, and it kind of comes through on the album, but I don't get it nearly as much as I would like.
Sound guys love, studios love, practice spaces love.
Yeah, who's not a fan of some?
Yeah.
Literally, when we were recording Gumrot, because of how far away I was from the amp, I actually brought another guitar amp with me. It was just a little shitty Line 6 Spider, and I just turned everything up, and I'm like,
Cranked
I'm
it.
gonna use this for the feedback, so that when I'm done playing, it just starts feeding back. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's what I wanted on the album.
yeah, we didn't even talk about. Yeah, Ash had a whole amp set up just to get feedback on the album. So
It sounded good.
did.
I feel like it helped with those transitions from like the ska parts into like the heavier punk parts and stuff,
yeah,
Instead of, it's not so abrupt because there's that slight like feedbacky lead in.
Word.